everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. My name is Meg. This is my home buying series, and we just had an offer accepted on a house. Alright everybody, so this is another video for my house buying series. There's a playlist linked down below in the description box if you would like to see the other videos. I talk about our experience. I do a chit chat, get ready with me, because normally this is a makeup and lifestyle channel, okay? So if you're into that, please check out my other content, consider subscribing. But I talk about it in my chit chat, get ready with me video, the process and like the house that we put an offer on that was accepted. I also have a video on the first steps to the home buying process, like what you should be doing first. I have house tour videos of some of the houses that we looked at on this journey. I have a whole video talking about offers and being rejected. So if you're somebody that's having a hard time getting an offer accepted, maybe watching that video will make you feel a little bit better and less alone. And also down in the description box is a Koji link, so that will show you, if you click on the link, it will show you my other social media where else you can connect with me. I have a second channel, so all of that bookkeeping stuff is aside. Now we can get into the video. So Joe and I put an offer on a house and it was actually accepted. So we saw a house that we were interested in. We put an offer in on it, and shockingly within a couple of hours the offer was actually accepted. So I just kind of want to talk through what the next steps are through closing, because it's a lot and it's very stressful. So you're going to see me looking different throughout this video because I just want to make sure I'm documenting it as it's fresh in my head. Alright, so I am referencing a cheat sheet that my realtor gave me so I don't misspeak, because like I said, not an expert, don't hold anything against me. So you made an offer on a house and the offer was accepted, so now you're under contract and your realtor is going to open escrow with your earnest deposit. So basically, I forget how the amount is determined. I think it all depends on what percent of a down payment you are making, and I believe the earnest money and escrow money is determined off of that price. Again, could be wrong. So basically what happens is they accept the offer. The realtor is going to reach out to a title company and let them know that you have made an offer on a house. The title company reaches out to you, says, we need a check for this amount of money, please drop it off. And basically that check is part of your down payment, and it's just a holding, like a holding ticket, basically saying like, okay, we are serious, here is several $1,000s to show that we do have the money and that we are interested and that we would like to, you know, have a hold on this house during the 10-day period. So after you accept an offer, you then have 10 days. Again, I don't know if it's different in state, but here in Arizona, you have 10 days from after the offer is accepted to either continue to follow through or to back out. I believe after 10 days, you will not get your earnest money back if you choose to not go through with the house. So you have the 10-day blanket period to protect you and your earnest money. And basically the only way you really wouldn't go through with the house is if you have buyer's remorse, or for example, the inspection is done and there's a lot of issues and the seller doesn't want to fix them and you don't want to carry that burden, or you decide that the neighborhood isn't for you, or there's just something else that came up that you rather, you know, put an offer on or something like that. So you have that little 10-day protection, and there's a lot that happens in the 10 days. Luna is over here for my moral support. So with the earnest money, it's just a placeholder. Like, yes, I'm interested in putting an offer on this house and I want to proceed with it, but should I back out, I can get that money back. All right, so you have given your earnest money, your escrow, the deposit is there. So now you have the next 10 days to do the inspection. So that also includes paying an inspector to come and inspect the house, make sure the foundation is good, the plumbing is good, the roof is good, the AC is good. All that stuff is good before buying the house. You also, in Arizona, it's really recommended to have somebody come out and inspect for termites, because my realtor says if you haven't had them, you eventually will. This is also the time where you could have a pest company come out and do like an inspection to make sure that there's not an issue with scorpions or anything like that, any other kind of infestation within the house. So you can pay to have these people come in and inspect the interior and exterior of the house, but you also take the next 10 days to inspect the neighborhood yourself. So they say that they recommend you going around, driving by the house on weekends, you know, parking the car, walking around the neighborhood, making sure that it's a neighborhood that you want to be in. Let's say, for example, you go over to the house on a Friday night and you notice the neighbors are having a really loud party. You come back Saturday night, the neighbors are having another loud party. Those are things to keep in mind. Maybe look during the day on Sunday, see if there's a lot of people out and about. If you have a next door neighbor that likes to fix a lot of things or has a hobby, like my lovely neighbors across the street that like to fix diesel pickup trucks in the street all day, every day, and they also do it all night. They will sit there and rev the engine and just go literally for hours on end from like 11 p.m. until 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they also do it during the day. So for your own peace of mind to inspect the neighborhood, so to say. And then you can also get an idea if you drive by during the day, during the week, like what's the deal, you know, when people are getting home from work, just to check out, make sure that it's a neighborhood you want to live in, make sure that the neighbors aren't doing anything too weird. So you have that 10-day period to really just protect yourself and make sure, hey, I actually want to go through with this. So that is with the inspection. So now you're also going to have your lender contacting you. Your lender is going to want to know how much you're putting down as a down payment so they can make the adjustments for the loan to see if the bank is going to approve the loan. You also have to pay to have somebody come out and appraise the house. So I touched on this on my house offer video, like the offers that were rejected that we put in on houses. But basically, the appraisal is to help protect you. If you waive the appraisal, you have to pay the price. You know, I mean, you have the 10 days to back out, of course, but it is what it is. That's the agreed upon price that you need to pay. Now, when you don't waive the appraisal, you pay for someone to come out and appraise the house. So this is, you know, someone's going to come out regardless because I think they need the information in the data system either way. But you have to pay for the appraisal to be done. So this is going to determine if the house is worth what the asking price was. If it is, then, you know, that's the price, you know, what you offered is what you're going to pay. However, if for some reason the appraisal comes under the asking price, chances are the lender's not going to want to give you the loan because the house isn't worth that much. So that's when you can go into negotiation with the seller. See if they're willing to come down on the asking price, or you can just back out altogether. So that is the where we are right now. Another thing that we have to do is contact our insurance company and get a quote for homeowners insurance. And they're going to give you a couple different options for deductibles. So my suggestion is to go in person and really have them explain it to you. Because it's really confusing. Like, to me, when I was on the phone with it, it sounded like they were talking a second language. Like, I was just very confused. So we're gonna go in person on Monday to make sure we're understanding everything correctly. But throughout this process, I always tell whoever I'm working with, I say, I'm like Michael Scott from The Office. Explain it to me like I'm 5. And then like they'll laugh, but then they're like, okay. And then like they'll slow down and actually explain things the way that they should be. So that is where we are in the process. We're waiting for the inspection to be done, and we need to wait for the appraisal to be done to determine if we want to continue moving forward, or if for some reason we might be forced to back out. So that's kind of where we are. It's not necessarily a done deal because nothing is done until you're fully closed, but that is where we are at right now. So what I'm going to do for the rest of this video is walk you through step by step as it's happening and fresh in my mind, like I said. But it looks like the next step is a final walkthrough. So your lender is going to be asking you for a lot of paperwork, and next is a walkthrough to make sure the repairs are completed and to check the condition of your future home. So essentially when you have somebody inspect the home, if like the roof needs to replace, that's up to the seller. The seller could say, no, I don't want to pay to fix this. And then that's where you have the power to say, okay, well, I don't want to pay for this either because I'm already busting my budget, so we're backing out. So that's the 10-day blanket period. So in most cases though, the seller is willing to pay for repairs. It's just in the market that we're in, the seller really does have the upper hand. So if they really didn't want to, they might think or know that there's going to be somebody that wants to invest in their property that will have no issue paying for the cost of repairs regardless. So I hope this makes sense. I'm trying to make this as like the least confusing as possible. So hopefully if there are repairs, they're done by the seller. And you do the final walkthrough to make sure everything is good with the house, and then it says the next step is to close. So the lender is going to send over final documents to the title, and now it's time to sign. And closing takes place once recorded, and then you're able to move in. But in our case with this specific offer, the seller requested to remain on the premises for 30 days after closing, but he did agree to pay us rent and give a deposit and continue to pay utilities. So we're really appreciative of that because, as I mentioned in my other video with another house we put an offer on, the sellers were not willing to pay rent for the 60 days they wanted to stay after closing. So we feel lucky that the seller is willing to pay rent, and we're grateful that he wants to. So that's kind of what the rest of the journey looks like, and you're about to find out how the rest of that goes right now.